make it work. So I've got that thing, and that. So there is the offending fan. There's the old one, which I think I had a bit of a stare at it. 5 volts DC, half a watt. And then this, in this ridiculously elaborate case, is the replacement. Look at that. Any specs on it? 5 volts, 0.25 watts. Happy days. So I had to widen one of the screw holes. There's only one screw in it because the holes don't line up anymore, but it's solid, snug as a bug. It's not going anywhere. So the cable's down in under there fine. Pins are good. Happy days. She's in. So here we go then. This is it turned off. This is the new turning on. That is a marked improvement. Airflow seems to be fine. Plenty of air coming out. I'll buy that. Boom, boom, boom. Right, so back with this thing then. I found out the answer to my riddle, and that is that it's not a straight serial connection. Having dug up the paperwork for the box itself, because I'd only previously used the blue 16 version, which has an Ethernet connection. So with this serial connection on this, it's not a straight pin-to-pin connection. You need a null modem cable, which is basically, I think, a crossover cable. Some or all of the pins are inverted. So once I'd read that, I was thinking about rigging something up, but then I found out that they're £3 something on eBay, so I just waited for it to turn up. So I've got USB out of this Windows 11 laptop, USB into a generic serial converter, then a null modem cable into the back. And if I have to excuse my shaky hand, man. Let's have a look at the USB first. If I can find the device manager. Ports, there we are. Hopefully you can see that. USB to serial. We're on 115200 and we're on COM1. So So if I then open the software, and we go to edit, no, ignore me, preferences, application, comms, so we're on 115.200 and COM1 port. So now if we go view network window and go online, it's found one device, so that's exciting, isn't it? I think I can now press stop searching. So again, I did this once with a Blue 16 some time ago. So it's found it, main DSP type 9088 DSP2, which is what we got. So it's found it, but it's not in the design. So if I've remembered correctly, what you have to do is create a design and then spit it into the box, so to speak. So new device. I'm bundling my way through this, so any criticism readily accepted. So we need 8 in, which will be line level inputs. Okay, going offline, yeah, alright then. And then what do I like? Oh, there it is. So there we go. I think if I double click on that, here we are. Auto mixers. You want an 8:1. I believe we just drag that on. Right, now, so we've got inputs on the left, outputs on the right. I believe I need to draw some lines. So input 1 is going to go to input 1. Input 2 to input 2, amazingly. There may be a faster automatic way of doing this, I don't know. Just going to bundle my way through it. 4, 5, 5, 6. Eight and 1 out. Lovely, so that's our routing. Oh, did I miss? What happened there? Why is it red? I don't think I missed. Or did I miss? I think that's that. And I think, if I remember, you double click on it. Nah, this might be an older version of the one I was last looking at. So I think that'll be the amount of gain reduction. So let's put a 12 dB dip, should be enough. Hopefully you can see that. Let's just put that on all of them. That's 12. Twelve dB is enough of a dip, I find. And then, does that mean the red mean they're muted or unmuted? Let's turn all those off. Basically, I want to try and get the design right, and then just spit it into the box, and then it should never need to be touched ever again. It'll just work when you plug it in. If people can manage to leave things alone, which is a constant challenge. So, if I've done this correctly, what we now need to do is work out how to spit it into the DSP box itself. Do I press compile? What does dynamic metering do? Let's take that. Does that mean we get metering on here? we're spoiled these days. Obviously if you get used to looking at a Dugan you can see exactly what it's up to, but we might not manage that with this, but as long as it works. I'm going to press compile and see what happens. Starting compilation. Device compiled. What does that mean? Does that mean it sent it? Well, I'm still offline. Let's do a file save as. Let's just call it my auto mix. What happens now then? So, after a bit of digging, I think what I need to do to send one to the other is make the names the same. So if I go network window, go online, found it. Can I right click on that? Change its name? No, I cannot. But I can rename this one though, so it needs to be called main space DSP. Right click that, properties, space DSP. Let's go, okay. Following has the wrong options set. Make those both mic inputs. Does that sort it out? So I think we need to compile the device because I changed them from mic to... No, I changed them from line to mic inputs to shut it up. Now we're online. Needs loading. How exciting. Ready? It's flashing, look. She's flashing. How exciting. Everything is okay. So let's have a look then. I better save that design again because I changed it. So this, if we're online still, everything is okay. This should be the actual box. And I think I might be able to change that. If I do a right clicky, control panel, let's just have a look at this. Inputs 1 to 4, 5 to 8, no gain. Analog, all 0, digital, blah blah blah. So I suppose we can tell if we've really got control of it if there's a phantom power button on the front there, so if I put phantom power on there, look, there it is, and going away. How exciting. There seems to be a constant signal on input 4, which may or may not be a cause for concern. We'll get onto that. How exciting. So input 4 might not be any good, but we'll see. Right. So if we go into it, this should be the real box. As you can see, input 4 is triggering the automix already because it's got that what I presume to be a bit of noise on it. Right then, So we've got a box. Now I suppose we should try and rig up some kind of way of seeing if it works. Right, so I'll try and rig up some form of demonstration then, if I can manage it. I've got this old LS9. So what I've done is I made up, I'll show you the back. I made up a cheeky loom with the Euroblock connectors, and I've got my 8 outputs from the desk going into the box, 1 return, and then that is an extra cable that I've got, so I'm going to loop tone out of the desk and into one of the inputs to try and rig up some kind of demonstration if I can. It looks like input 4 is unfortunately broken because it's singing its own song. I've disconnected the Euro block at the back and it's still doing it, so looks like we might be a 7 in, 1 out, unfortunately. So let's see if I can make any sense with this. It's a long time since I've played with this. I'm trying to remember what's where. Oscillator, right. Let's assign that to, where did I put that? In output 9. Is output 9 looking at mix 9? We'll soon find out. And turn it on. Yes, it is. So there's my tone coming in. There we go. So I basically sent tone out of an unused mix bus and down to input 1. So I'm going to send that same input to the first 8 channels. I was just about to prod the touchscreen and then realised that this doesn't have a touchscreen. Can I get a view that does it at once, I wonder? There we go, that's also input 1. That one is also input 1. Also input 1, input 5, also input 1, also input 1, input 7, also input 1, input 8, also input 1. There we go. So, got tone coming in the first 8 channels. Yeah. So what I need to do is send post-fade direct outputs. So let me find the first channel. Where's the direct outs on this thing? Here we are, direct. There we go, look. So first 8 is currently on. That needs to be. Oh, you are joking. You telling me I can't do it? I can't do post-fade direct outs. What a shambles. That's not going to work then, is it? Can I do... Right, for the purposes of this then, I'll just use mix buses. I bet you can't do post-fade inserts either, can you? Can you? Post on, does that mean it's post-fader? Yeah, it must be. Right, let's do that then. Let's use inserts. I'm used to fancier desks at work, that's the trouble. Yes, that'll do the trick. Okay, so the insert sends are going to go to... Oh, you're joking, I can't go straight to an Omni output. This is painful, yeah, painful. How things have moved on from these desks. Right. forget that, then we'll just use post-fade mix buzzers. So I need to find the right page to set those to be. Fixed will do it, I believe. Right, that's going to give us 8 post-fade mix buzzers, which, if the omnis are patched correctly, will give us the first 8 omni outs. That looks good. So if I go back to my channel, I was going to touch the touch screen again. It's just not how it's done, is it? So that's going to go to mix 1. Channel 2 is going to go to mix 2. That one's going to go to mix 3. That one is going to go to mix 4. That one to 5. That one to 6. That one to 7. And that one to 8. Right, so we're all connected up. We're online. I've disconnected and muted input 4 because that is the one that is unfortunately singing its own song, so we'll ignore that. I've got 8 channels with tone coming in, which I'm going to use to simulate signals, and I'm sending those to post-fade mix buzzers. If I knew how this desk works, I'll be able to show you the output meter page. There we go. So that constant tone is the tone output that I've looped back in. So if I fade up 1, there it's going to 3, we're not using 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you can't see what the automix is actually doing, but you should be able to see an activity light when I fade each one up. So this would be person 1 talking. Yeah. Person 2 taking over. 3 talking. No, 4, 5 talking. 6, 7, 8. So the idea is that it detects whoever's talking and then turns all the rest down by 12. Okay, so if you're doing, say, a pitch side presentation and there's a really noisy PA, or you're doing, 7 lapel mics and you've no idea who's going to talk next, you can just leave them all in and this will do the magic for you. So it detects whoever's talking and turns all the rest down by 12, which will just keep the room sound down, or the noisy PA, or so with the more modern Dugans you can see the gain reduction that it's doing, but with this, so the idea is that you would no longer need the laptop. You just take the green box of joy, and as long as nobody logs into it and reconfigures it, so if it's left alone, then if I fix that input, I've got an 8 input, but I've currently got a 7 input auto mix, which is fine. So to prove it works then, how do I prove it works? I suppose if I put them all in at the same amount, so that's my background noise. Yeah, that's my background noise. You can see the background noise coming back because they're all in at the same amount. So if person 7 starts talking above the background noise, you can see it's detected that 7's the hot one, and it will have pulled the rest back. So if that goes back and say 6 starts talking above the background noise, then it's detected 6, right? But to prove the automix is working, this is the return on this channel. So let's just look at so 6 is talking, this is the return. If I look at the input meters, so that is our level on the return, so we're just lighting neg 30 on the actual level meter on the channel. So if I bypass all these, if I press the override button, then you just get the 7 mics coming back all together. Yeah, so you can see the level now has gone way up, so that is all 7 mics together. Yeah, because I've overridden each channel. So if I turn the override off, obviously 4's not going to matter, and it's now back to detecting that 6 is talking, and the level coming back is that mic and everything else turned down 12. Yeah, all good fun, but it does clean things right up and makes your life an awful lot easier if you're doing this kind of thing. Right, hopefully that made some sense. Over and out.